Good morning and welcome to the weekly reminder. I'm Lauren. Welcome. This is Thriving Thursday. You've almost made it through the week. Happy early Friday, right? I hope you guys are staying safe, hydrated, and wearing your mask. Today I have an exciting episode. Social media detox tips for parents and teens. All right? Anyone out there struggling to find balance in their social media usage? Guilty. We want to stay connected with others in the world, but we don't because we know it stresses us out, but we still do it anyway. Picking up my phone and opening apps has become an unconscious habit. I know you might say technology is our friend and makes everything more convenient. It makes people and ideas even more connected than before. However, most of us wish we were more present in our lives. Today, social media such as YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram have become our primary sources of information. They are also vehicles of fake news and misinformation. The greatest impact of our new normal is felt by our teenagers, which stem from school closures, being in a house with family members, and not getting to see their friends and peers. Adolescents have different developmental needs than adults. Teenagers are at a stage in their lives where they are very invested in social connections and in separating from their parents. So COVID-19 social distancing requirements have a different emotional impact on them more than adults. Depending on their age and developmental stage, some teens may have a hard time understanding what this pandemic really means and how it impacts their world. Two of the developmental tasks of adolescents are to develop social skills, empathy, and a sense of identity. Both of these tasks usually happens through interactions with their peers. But due to our current circumstances, our teens are relying heavily on social media to gain these skills. Now, although social media has its benefits, in times like this, we have to be aware of its dangers. Social media can become addictive. So, my parents, here is some advice for monitoring your teen's social media use. My teens may not like me saying this, but parents, discuss or compromise on social media usage. Come up with a reasonable time limit to be on social media. Parents, be fair. And my teens out there, be honest with yourself. 20 minutes on Instagram or TikTok usually turn into what? An hour and a half, right? Let's be honest. More importantly than the amount of screen time is actually the type of screen time. Screen time is different depending on whether teens are talking to friends or family members or completing homework versus watching news programs, surfing the web, or Netflix streaming, which can cause increased anxiety or being on social media in a way that exposes something negative or triggering. It's important to make sure that teens are using social media in a positive and healthy way. Teens depend heavily on mobile devices to connect with their friends, and it's more important for parents to help them use screen time in a good way rather than simply limiting use. So parents, set realistic expectations and remember that everyone is adapting to this situation. Let your teen have some alone time, but not all day, right? Open up for conversation and keep the communication positive. Be open, be transparent with them, have dialogue. Learn about the effects of stress and how to manage it. Now, for my teens, come on, listen in. For my teens, I know being a teenager is difficult, no matter what. But you combine that with living in a pandemic, it makes it even harder. With school closures and canceled events, many of you are missing out on some of the biggest moments of your young lives, as well as everyday moments like chatting with friends and participating in class. Change can be difficult, especially when the situation creates unpleasant feelings, anxiety, hopelessness, anger, and irritability. One thing is clear. Teens all over the world are experiencing the same thing. So you're not alone. I get it. School is over. You're stuck at home with your parents with no escape. So your phone and social media is your outlet. I empathize with you. However, if you are honest with yourself, you may find that your usage has become excessive. Yes? Sometimes we use social media to deal with our painful, unresolved emotions, often without even knowing it. I'm not saying no social media, but be more purposeful with your usage. Prior to your usage, check in with yourself emotionally. So here's some tips. Allow yourself to feel. Missing out on events with friends, hobbies, sports is incredibly disappointing. The best way to deal with this disappointment is to allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to be. Processing your feelings looks different for everybody. So do what makes you feel right. Recognize your anxiety, your depression is completely normal. If the upcoming school year or alarming headlines are causing you anxiety, it's normal and a healthy function that alerts us to threats and help us to take measures to protect ourselves. Your anxiety is going to help you make the decisions that you need to make right now. For example, just create a mood calendar by color, right? So whatever colors represents a mood, right? You mark that on your calendar. This way you can track the changes in your mood and you're able to process and kind of think about what's triggering that, whether it's kind of feeling stagnant, kind of feeling bored, or just kind of anxious about what's to come. Second, focus on you. As a teen, you're trying to navigate life while also trying to figure out who you are. Reflect on your strengths, your weaknesses, qualities, your interests, etc. Get to know yourself. The most important relationship that we have amongst anything is a relationship with ourselves. And a lot of that involves really kind of exploring who we are and getting to know ourselves. So focus on yourself. Find ways to use your time productive to help define who you are and gain awareness of your mental health. Create a space for you and your parents to get to know each other. Start a new family challenge of some sort. Third, find new ways to connect in healthy ways. Staying connected to the world through social media is essential, but think about healthy ways to utilize it. Join an online group such as Remind Adolescent, young adult group. So adolescent, 13 to 17, we have a group for you. Listen to some interesting podcasts such as Mental Music, some TED Talks. If you're a true crime fan like me, My Favorite Murder, or Therapy for Black Girls. Or even tune into some YouTube channels, some healthy YouTube channels that trigger thinking and challenge your brain on a daily basis. And last but not least, practice positive self-talk. Start by following a simple rule. Don't say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to anyone else. When you wake up in the morning, be gentle with yourself. Give yourself grace, self-compassion. Being able to think about what you're thankful for. Even in the midst of all of this, the way that we can stay positive and have a sense of hope is being able to think about the good things that we do have in our life. Now, I know for some teens, you're experiencing true high levels of stress and trauma due to food insecurity, abuse in the home instability, loss of a family income, as well as illness or death of a loved one. You're not alone. These are major barriers to receiving the support that your peers in higher income communities are getting. You may have limited access to internet or have the responsibility to taking care of your younger siblings while your parents are working, thus leaving you no time or little opportunity to have the alone time and the escape that you need for your mental health. Well, here's something you can do. Utilize a journal. Before you go to sleep, practice pleasant imagery to escape to a place of calm, using your senses to describe that place. That's one of my favorite things is pleasant imagery. And that involves just thinking about a moment when you were happy, when you were calm, right? So for example, when I think about a place of calm for me, it's on the beach, right? When I'm using my senses, I smell the salt water. I can hear the birds chirping, right? I can see the sun and hear the waves of the ocean, right? And that just kind of brings me a sense of calm and a sense of happiness, just thinking about that moment. And that's something you can try as a teen or even as an adult, just to give yourself a flashback of that moment where you had a sense of calm, even in the midst of uncertainty and chaos, right? So recap, it's important to note that there's nothing wrong with spending time on social media. The important thing is to use it for purpose and intention to stabilize your overall mental health, all right? It's about creating that balance between using social media for the good and also giving yourself that time to disconnect and connect with yourself. All right? So thank you for tuning in. Once again, my teens, my adolescent, 13 to 17, please sign up for our online support group. It's a great way to utilize that social media in a positive way. Also for my parents, we have groups for you as well as a support group. Please visit our website at remindsupport.org. Stay connected and stay safe. Wear your mask. Have a wonderful week. Stay hydrated. All right. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.